So I thought that we could do something together which I've never done, which is an exercise routine where we're going to use concepts of yoga and pilates. I'm here having my tea, getting some sun. This is perfect to do in the morning. And you basically just want to mobilize the whole body, increase circulation, strengthen and lengthen your muscles. You want to target every part of your body. That's always my main objective when I exercise. I want a practice that's 100% balanced, symbiotic. I just want everything to work together. I don't want anything to hurt. So I use my roller a lot. I actually bring my roller to the park. And roller, it's lovely for your spine and just for any joint. So I've already spent like 20 minutes for your hamstrings. It's amazing on the hamstrings. If you haven't done this before, the first time I did this, I thought I was doing something wrong. I mean, it hurts so bad. But then you get used to it and your hamstrings will thank you. So anyway, that's rolling. That's something for another time. But now what we're gonna do is I just want us to move. Actually, I'm going to move this a little bit because the sun is going to the other side. So we're going to start on all fours. So hands and knees on the floor. And sometimes what I like to do is I turn my hands, fingertips facing towards myself, just to stretch the wrists. And I just want you to mobilize in any way that you like. I don't like when people instruct me exactly what to do here, so I'm not going to. Just move, press against the floor. Always use the floor to your advantage, because it's the only thing that you have to strengthen when you're working with body weight is the push towards the floor. So really push towards the floor with your hands, with your legs, and just mobilize. Come forward to a plank, come back, push the floor with your hands. I'm not going to do a really detailed instruction right now because this is more of an idea of a sequence more than a class. So obviously it's better if you know how to do these things already, because I'm not going to put you into position. But basically I'm doing planks to downward dog. So we're rolling into a plank and then back to downward dog, just to kind of mobilize, push with the shoulders. When you're pushing, really use your shoulder blades. So you want to be using your back muscles. Always imagine that your arms start on the back, which they actually do because the scapula is a mechanism that works with the shoulder blade, with the shoulder. It's all the same kind of mechanism, right? And now lift one leg, take it up and back, bend the knee and really open that hip. Do it on the other side. This is just like general mobilization. Other side. Keep your torso straight, pushing against the floor, and really push and really strengthen. Try to occupy as much space as possible. And now let's turn around. Just change perspective. Fingertips facing towards the front again, so the arms are behind you. You're sitting on the floor and you're just going to push into your wrists and your arms until you lift your hips. And this is just really good to, again, it's lengthening a different part of the shoulder joint and again the wrists. I'm trying to do movements that I wouldn't do in my daily life. I think it's very important when we are exercising to try to target places that we're not already doing all the time. For example, I like to lengthen the front of my legs because that's something that we don't do in our daily life. We're always sitting down, our legs are always in flexion like this. So when we can, I want us to not have them in flexion. I want us to have them in extension. So let's go on a lunge position, back knee on the floor, but we can also tuck in our toes and lift it. So this is really great to lengthen that front of our quad, the hip flexor, which is always so tight. So these are movements that are lengthening and strengthening at the same time. And this is all yoga postures, right? Clasp your hands behind you. Use this moment to lengthen the front of your body and use your back muscles, contract them. So take the scapulas together. Everything is working at the same time. Change legs. So you want to press against the floor, tuck your toes under, lift that back knee. You're going to feel a really big lengthening on the front of the leg. That's your back leg. And you may want to lengthen it completely. Now clasp the hands behind you. Increase that lengthening. And while you do this, I want you to, at the same time, have your hip bones, try to face up with your hip bones so that you're not excessively bending your lower back, right? You're trying to tilt your pelvis forward and up while you're doing this. It's just going to increase the stretch. And take your arms up, hold one wrist on the other to lengthen the sides of your body. Let's start with some back action. Back is really important. We never use our back in our daily life generally. So come into a plank and give me a really straight line on a plank. So I don't want us to be like this or curved inwards. I want us to be in a straight line, for which you have to really contract your abs and push with your shoulders towards the ground. Don't overthink this movement. You just want to be pushing as if you're trying to get away from a wall. And then come to the floor. And to come to a cobra, press pelvis against the floor, arms to either side of your chest, and press the floor. That's all you want to do. And with the arms, grab the ground towards you. So you are trying to slide forward. That's the movement. That's how you engage the back. And with the pelvis, with the pubis, press against the floor to make sure that that tilt is going to be in a healthy position for your back so that you don't over exert. Keep pressing. This is a really great pose. And then bend your knees, come into downward facing dog. We're going to do that again. We're going to do that a few times because that's just a really great movement that is healthy for our body and that we don't usually do. So come into plank, slowly to the floor, hands on either side of your chest, palms pressing towards the floor, pubis pressing towards the floor. And also imagine that there's a thread on the back of your head so that your gaze is really looking down and a little bit forward. So you're trying to really extend everything. Press, press, press. This is amazing for your triceps. And you will feel the lengthening of your back as well here. I always feel a clicking on my vertebra when I'm in cobra. So this is a really active cobra. Downward facing dog. Actually, I think those 2 times are enough. So now plank. Come down to the floor. Clasp the hands behind you. And elevate the back of your legs as if you wanted to extend everything backwards. That's a really good. So we are in locust. And the trick in locust is just trick in locusts is extend everything. So try to gain space towards the back. And then if you want to lengthen your arms forward, this is much harder and you really don't need to do it unless you need to do it, because it's what will push you further. So you always want to be, when you're doing any kind of exercise, you want to be at your edge so that there's effort, basically. And if there's effort, then it doesn't really matter where you are in terms of how advanced you're doing the pose or difficult. Come down again. Come on now, locust. So arms towards the head. Chin down. Lengthen your legs. So we're trying to touch the wall behind you. Lengthen your arms, palms facing down. Back of the neck is extended, long. And press the floor downward facing down. Oh my god, I'm losing my lights again. Every time I come to the park in a bikini, there's a helicopter. I wonder where that is. Sit down on the floor, legs bent in front of you, and we're going to elevate one leg and the other. The knees can be bent, and you just want to straighten your arms forward to either side of your legs. Stay here, lengthen the chest upwards, so you're trying to have your spine very long, and just stay here. This is strengthening your hip flexors, you're using your abs, and you're going to extend one leg and the other, stabilizing with your core, so that all of your core is working. Lengthen one leg and the other. Slow, intentional movement. So the aim here is basically to use all of the best moves from yoga and from pilates to combine it into something which is really kind of general exercise, but done in a very intentional, slow, effective way. I'm all about effectiveness. Now take both legs on the floor and we're going to do a twist. So seriously? Is he participating in our clubs? So let's have both our legs extended in front of us. So we are sitting down on our both legs straight in front of us, and now we're going to grab the outside of the right foot with the opposite hand. So we're twisting to the right. I love that movement. Breathe and try to have your hips facing forward, but your chest facing right. And you're pressing with your foot against the arm. And your back arm, it really could be hovering as well, or it could be on the floor, but it shouldn't be sustaining. You're pressing against the foot. Push against the right hand, twist towards the left. both arms really, really stretch. Really lovely twist where we are extending all of the back of the leg, the hamstring, using the obliques to twist, because we're not using our limbs to hold us in this position. We are using our core to twist to the left. So it's a really good exercise for the muscles in your core. And just anything for me that is expansive is really healthy for you, because we spend so much time in constricted positions. Okay, perfect. Release that. And I feel like we need to lengthen the front of our legs a little bit more. So let's come to a lunge. Let's come to a high lunge. High lunge, and we're going to go from high lunge to Hanumanasana, which is split. So high lunge, just mobilize, tilting the pelvis forward, so hip bones facing upwards, arms up, reaching up, as if you're trying to get something that's up. Hands together, hands behind your head, and with your head, push towards your hands. Strong, strong position. So it's a lunge with the back knee slightly bent and the head pushing towards the hands to really lift your chest. And focus on having everything really long. So not trying to get any smaller towards the back or curve too much. It's all about expansiveness. Change sides. Come through plank to change sides. Strong, strong legs in this lunge. Hands bent behind the back. Head presses against the hands. Strong, strong legs. Then lengthen and bend the back leg. Come back to downward facing dog. Oh, we didn't do the Hanumanasana. Let's do this. An easy split. You don't have to do it if you're not used to doing it. But basically lunge, and then from the lunge, you just extend the front leg and press against the floor with both legs. So you don't have to touch the floor at all. It's actually much more active if you don't. So you're pressing against the floor with both of your legs. And if you want, you can extend your arms up. This is a very advanced move, so don't do it if you're not used to. Just bend your legs a lot more, stay in a lunge. And play with extending your legs a little bit more every time. But really the most important factor here is that you're pressing against the floor. I'm pressing against the floor to push up. And that's what's going to strengthen my legs, not the fact that I'm coming down or not. So for me to push, I have to come down to here. For other people, you don't have to come down as much. I'm not trying to go down. And now the other leg. Extend, push. I'm basically trying to push with my legs as lengthened as possible, because that's targeting a slightly different area. That's all I'm doing. So I'm extending my legs as much as I can at this moment in time. It will vary. And then I am extending my arms up, just because this allows me to really open my thorax, I feel like. It's really, using the body is very intuitive. You will feel if something feels good or not. And if it doesn't, then you need to work on the posture, really. So press the legs against the floor. I really like doing this on the ground because it's cushiony. Engage, engage, engage every muscle in your legs and your buttocks. And breathe. It's actually really cold, but because it was sunny, I enjoy it. So final move, separate the legs, open them as much as you can or want. While it's feeling good, you can bend your knees as much as you need to. I'm not gonna bend them because I don't need to, but bend your knees, press against the floor with everything you've got. And we're just going to lengthen our legs. Start getting dressed. So that's it. That was an easy. I feel like we didn't do a lot of Pilates there. It was mostly all yoga moves. But we introduced some dynamism, which is a Pilates thing. So I'm just spending a little bit of time just lengthening, again, expansiveness, arms lengthen towards the sides. If you're trying to reach something that's far away. And I do a little side bend, so right arm lengthens, tries to reach the right leg, and the other arm comes forward. Actually, take it forward, because then it's much easier to get that strength and that length. Left arm starts coming towards the forward. Right arm extends towards the right leg, and the left arm comes forward and then up as much as you want, and that's gonna give you a really great side stretch. Really reach. And the other side, left arm towards left leg, and the right arm comes forward, and then you twist towards the right so that you really open, extend that right side of the thorax. And you can do this for as long as you need. I'm just giving you some ideas, but you know, I could spend hours, and I do. So thanks for joining me, and I shall keep you posted. Please come back soon.